Try to warm up. Our -1, 0 divided by -2 is 0. -5 divided by 0. What's the calculator tell you when you try and divide anything by 0? Yeah, no, can't be done. It's undefined. An internet company has had a profit of $2.6 million over the last 5 years. What was its average annual property? Well, it's 2.6 million divided by 5. 520,000. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're going to like this lesson. It's purely review, and I think you're going to be good.
Is it short and sweet?
Yeah, it's short and sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple things I want to point out. Medium, or M is for slope, yeah? Not medium. M is for slope. Parallel lines sometimes we'll write like that. 2 lines next to each other. Perpendicular, sometimes like that. You got to remember when you're looking at 2 equations of lines, if they have the same slope, they're parallel. If their slopes are opposite reciprocals, this is an opposite reciprocal, then they're perpendicular. Which kind of makes sense. If your line going like this and a perpendicular line going down, obviously it's going to have an opposite slope, correct? The reciprocal is not so obvious, but the sign is obvious. It'd be a different sign. Okay. The roof of an entryway to an office building has a rise of 40 feet and a run of 100. So 40 over 100, the slope is 2/5. Is that a very steep slope, you guys?
No.
If you can visualize, a slope of 1 is about right like this. So 2/5 is not quite 1, so it's going to be not quite that steep, is it?
Not quite.
Not quite. How's that for good grammar? Not quite yet. Whatever I said. But so this is a slope of 1 right here. So 2/5 is going to be not very steep at all. Make sense? What is the slope of the line passing through these 2 points? Now, you guys might have learned it a different way. You can use this equation, change in y. I like to say change in y divided by change in x, because you don't necessarily have to do y2 minus y1. You can do y1 minus y2. It doesn't matter. You just got to make sure you start with the same coordinates from the same point. So if I do -5 minus -2 and -4 minus 6, I get plus plus -3 over -10, which becomes 3/10, correct? I kind of like this method too. You can use that, but if it's easier, you can use a table. You guys remember this? Some people saw this in 8th grade. You put the coordinates in, and then change in y. How much did y change? How much did y change? It went up by what? 3. And it went up by what? Or down, across by what? What's the change in x? So y over x is 3 over 10. That's your slope. You can use the table too. Doesn't matter. Okay? All right, turn it over. Without graphing, tell whether the line through the given point rises, falls, is horizontal, or vertical without graphing it. So that means find the slope. Let's think about this, though, first. Let's not even find the slope. Let's just look at the points. As x increases, what does y do? Decrease. So what's this line going to do? Rise or fall? Yeah, as x goes up on the x-axis, the y is going down. So the line is going to fall. If you think about it like that, like I'm just going to draw a little picture just so you can visualize. I know I'm not supposed to graph, but 1 to 8. As x increases, this goes to -1 down here. Y is decreasing, isn't it, as x increases. So You can just look at the points. If you can't figure that out, you can try and figure out the slope, and it's negative. But this falls. As x increases, y decreases. What's happening here? X is increasing, and what is y doing?
Decreasing.
Yeah, you don't have to write this down, but I'm just going to write it down. Y is increasing, so it rises. As x is getting bigger, so is y, so that it's going up. Just like the scatter plots we were talking about yesterday. Okay, oh, what do we notice here? So, yeah, the x's are staying the same. So that means that it's going to be a vertical line. Whenever the x's are the same, it's a vertical line. X is always going to equal 5, or negative 5. No matter how many points you put on that graph, x will always be negative 5. So even though it says not to graph, I just want people to be able to visualize that. It's negative 5, 3 is here. Negative 5, 1 is here. So it's going to be a vertical line. All the x's are negative 5. Always, always, always. How about this? What's the same here? The y's are the same. So it's going to be a what? Yeah, the equation is y equals 2. It's a horizontal line. All the y's will always be 2. All the y's will always be 2. So it's going to be a horizontal line of y equals 2. Okay? Tell whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Well, what did we say on this front page? How can I tell? If what? The slopes are the same, it's what? Parallel. If the slopes are perpendicular, it's what? I mean opposite reciprocals, it's what? Perpendicular. So let's practice that. Same slope. Opposite reciprocals. For the slope. So you have to find the slope between the two lines. We're saying we have this line on a graph and we have this line on a graph, and we want to see if they have the same slope or different slopes. So I'm going to do line 1 here. I'll subtract the y's and then subtract the x's. And it becomes 6 over negative 2. Which is negative 3. If you went from here to here and here to here, you'd get the same answer. I actually prefer the table method. Are you guys more used to this method? Yeah. Okay. All right, in line 2, subtract the slopes, 1 minus 10. Subtract the y's, sorry, and subtract the x's. Negative 9 over 3 equals negative 3. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Same slope. So they're parallel. 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 Okay. My son always used to say, wow, because he couldn't say his L's. Did you guys ever say that kind of stuff when you were little? No. Okay.
What's he trying to say?
Yellow. Well. He was like 3. I'll forgive him. All right, do line 1. All right, 3 minus negative 3 and negative 5 minus negative 2 equals 6 over negative 3, which is negative 2 slope. 11 minus negative 5, 4 minus negative 4, 16 over 8 equals 2. What did I do wrong? I did something wrong. Oh, no, I didn't. I did it right. What does this tell me? Parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Neither. Neither or neither. Tomato, tomato.
Neither and neither.
I get it now.
All right. I swore I wrote the homework down, but again, I didn't. So let me look.
Oh, good.